Okay, boys and girls, here we are at the Family Honesty Camp, and we are doing the wonderful Mechanics of the Spirit Realm tour. Here we go. All right, number one. What is a spirit? What is a spirit? A spirit is an invisible person. A person without a body. Number two, what is the spirit realm? A realm is an atmosphere. For example, I live in Polk County. Polk County is a realm. It has government, it has rules and regulations, it has boundaries and edges. What is the spirit realm? What is the afterlife? Oh, the afterlife is the atmosphere in which people are after they're alive. Human spirits go somewhere. Where do they go? What is the spirit realm? The spirit realm is the parallel realm, the invisible realm right around us. What is the afterlife? The afterlife is also all around us. It's where the departed souls have gone. What causes bad behavior, good behavior in human beings? What causes bad behavior and good behavior? Number one, personal choice. Number two, your atmosphere and your peer group influence. Number three, possibly spirits. How do you discern the presence and influence of spirits? We're not going to answer that one right now. How can we work together to keep troubling and bad spirits away from our family? We're not going to answer that right now either. How do you control your behavior? Bad behavior comes from self and peer group influence and possibly spirits. How do you control your behavior, your peer group influence, and the spirits around you? Well, we're not going to answer that one right now. But instead, we're going to ask this other question. Who are the most famous men and women in all human history? Now, we've got an amazing list, and you should pause and make yourself some lists from Google on the most famous men and women in human history. Make some lists. We'll do that later. All right, in those lists, I would say to you, you should study those people. Instead of just hanging out with your friends, you should read about the most famous men and women in human history. Now, what famous people are famous for dealing with spirits, dealing with invisible persons? That's when things get really interesting. Because two of the famous people on the list, the men list that I was looking at, on the top you got Jesus of Nazareth, then you've got Muhammad, and then somewhere after that you have this guy, the Apostle Paul or Rabbi Saul. Jesus of Nazareth and the Apostle Paul are both known and famous for being people who were dealing with spirits. Okay. So you look at all the other people. Galileo, Copernicus, Socrates, Plato, Hitler, Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha. None of those people, men or women, are famous for dealing with spirits, invisible spirit beings. Okay, so the mechanics of the spirit realm. Number 9, what is mechanics? Mechanics is understanding things, understanding how things work. And mechanics is also people. Mechanics, the word mechanic has two meanings. The mechanics are how a system or a situation works and functions, and mechanics are human beings that are working on things. So, we are going to be the mechanics who care for the human family. We're going to care for the human family by understanding the spirit realm. All right, now, it is written in the ancient wisdom, 2,000 years old, our battle is not against flesh and blood. It's not against human beings. You're not allowed to hate yourself in the mirror, and you're not allowed to hate other people. Our battle is against principalities and powers. That's a fancy term that makes you hard to understand. A principality is a region or a territory. A king has a kingdom. That king has a kingdom, and he's got a handful of sons, princes. So in the kingdom, the princes have territories that they are in control of. So a king puts princes or territorial spirits in control of those territories. So the territorial spirits that are over male human beings and male problems, female human beings and female problems, territorial spirits over artists and artistic people and give them the types of problems that they have. So there are territorial spirits in all regions. There are territorial spirits that mess with business people, that mess with the people that work on your car. There's a way that they can cheat you. There's a way that they can do well by you. Territorial spirits, that's one of our battles. The other part is spiritual wickedness in high places. Say it. Spiritual wickedness in high places. That word high means overarching. Guess what? The strongest leadership in your life is your peer group influence. You actually behave more like your peer group, your family that you're close to, your friends and stuff. That is one of the strongest influences. And the leadership in your strongest influence, your family, your teachers, your peer group, the ones that you're happy and comfortable with, spiritual wickedness, sneaky cheating laziness in your peer group that you allowed to lead you is one of the other places where you have battle. You're battling against individual spirits and bad leadership. Leadership that you're allowing to influence you that is not doing well or leaving things out. Okay, now we're going to talk about the spirit trick attack, leaving out truth. Now, in the ancient writings, there's this story where the human beings, I'm talking about Adam and Eve collectively, not just Eve, but Adam and Eve collectively were tricked. And the reason, the way was leaving out truth. All around you, you've got people that you're learning from that are leaving out details. You are hanging out with doctors and scientists who are giving you all kinds of good, true information about chemicals and structures. But what if they're completely ignoring the spirit realm? If they're leaving out the fact that there are spirits that affect you as well as your chemicals, then that's a trick attack. That's bad leadership. Okay, here's the picture. There are 3 deaths. The death of innocence, the death of the physical body, and then the death of the eternal soul. So when Eve talks to Satan, Satan says, what did God say to you? You will not surely die. And he was right. She's not going to die physically. She's not going to die spiritually. But her innocence is going to die. It is written. If you do something that's really wrong and you were ignorant about what you should have done, you will have a measure of difficulty. But if you knew what was done and you did it anyway, you will have a lot of difficulty. So there's a reality about innocence, about not being wise. So the greatest spirit trick attack is leaving out stuff. Oh, everything's going to be great for you. And they don't tell you about the areas where you're going to have real problems. Now, Christianity leaders and teachers are leaving out things. I'm telling you, for 62 years, I have been observing or under the influence of Christianity leaders. When my mother was given supernatural powers and baptized in the Holy Spirit, she was told not to tell anybody. Well, some churches do that praying in tongues things, but we don't. So you shouldn't talk about that because that causes a lot of problems. So the Christianity leaders and teachers literally forced the leaving out of important supernatural spiritual truths, and I did not hear about the thing that happened to my mother for 33 years. That's why I don't put my trust in teachers. I learn from teachers. I learn beautiful things and I add them to my life. But I'm extremely cautious about the things that are being left out. It's ridiculous to say that you know God and are following Jesus when you and your teachers are just leaving out really important things. All right, now, so let's know the mechanics of dealing with bad spirits. Okay, some bad spirits will stay around you because of God wanting you to be humble, because of God and humility. 2 Corinthians 12. Rabbi Paul says, hey, I got this bad spirit around me that makes me look stupid. I've had all these supernatural, beautiful experiences, and I said, God, please take this bad spirit away from me. Please take this bad spirit away from me. 3 times he asked for the bad spirit to be taken away from him, and God says, look, I'm sorry, you don't get to become perfect. You don't get to become Jesus. I'm leaving that bad spirit in your atmosphere so that you'll have to be humble and tell your friends, hey, I'm weak in this area. That spirit does not have power. That spirit does not possess the person, but they just hang around in their atmosphere and they're trying to get in through times of stress and stuff like that. Okay, some spirits will stay because of God and humility. You need to get discernment on that. Some spirits will come back 7 times worse. If a person was violent in their former life, and then they join a denomination that is violent toward other believers, saying, oh, those people don't have the right doctrine on baptism. Don't even talk to them. That is violence and attacking people in a spiritual context. Satan means the accuser, meaning the accuser of the brethren, the accuser of the believers. Okay, some bad spirits will stay because of God and humility. Some bad spirits will come back even worse in a spiritual t-shirt. In a Jesus t-shirt, you're doing evil. And then women are more susceptible to spirit deception. That is a foundational point that many people don't like to look at. Women are not second-class citizens. There's no such thing as a junior Holy Spirit. The revelation through the women are often the most important things to guide the family. But women are more susceptible to spirit deception. They have the beauty, they have the mercy, they have the attributes of God, Racham and Rachem. Okay, now, here's 4 points. A strong person can kick bad spirits off of you, but you can invite them right back in the next day by your behavior. By your behavior, you show bad spirits how you want to perform. If you perform in a negative way a whole lot, they can go to God and say, hey, we can get license over this person because they love to be violent and bitter and hateful. We can get license over them, right? And God says, yeah, go ahead. So strong people can kick spirits out But those people can invite those demons right back in. It's better that you learn how to keep them out. That's the most important training. Speaking against troubling spirits, spirits of remorse, go away. Spirit of abandonment and rejection, go away. Spirit of fear, spirit of greed and bitterness, go away. Okay, number 3, confession and self-accusation remove spirits. They hate it when you accuse yourself of doing bad. My bad, I've made a big mistake. That drives demons out. They can't get in. They can't get into the guilt. They can't get in and mess with other people because you haven't been honest. And if we confess, if we accuse ourselves now, on the final day, the dark side can't say, oh, you know what, they did that really wicked thing and they never apologized or they never accused themselves of doing wrong. So confession and self-accusation makes demons flee. And then there's also relationship deliverance. Psalm 1. If you hang around with people that are casual or lazy about a focus on God, if you hang out with people who scorn and mock principles of Jesus and say, oh, God wouldn't want you to do that. If you are hanging around with people who celebrate unrighteousness, you are in big trouble, and so is your future. If you perceive when you're hanging around somebody, you feel purer and cleaner and stronger and refreshed, then you should spend more time with that person. In Psalm 1, it says, the ones who hang out with righteous people are like a beautiful tree planted by a stream. There's always water on their roots. Their leaves are beautiful and they have nice fruit in season. So remember, demons, strong people can kick them out. You can learn to keep them out. Confession, self-accusation removes them, and discerning the relationships that actually cause your bad spirits to go away is very important. Now, 5 areas where we go crazy and we get spirit afflicted. 5 areas. Number 1, anger, revenge, and unforgiveness. You will get demons on you from these things. And they will mess with you and your family and your peer group and your business and your body and everything that you do. Anger and unforgiveness brings cancer to the bones. Number 2, life traumas of any sort. If you're in a car accident, you're afraid of driving your car for a while. That's a spirit of fear. If your best friend leaves when you're in 3rd grade, and you're spending the rest of your life trying to figure out how you're going to have another best friend and it's not working out, that's a demon. You're hunting for people as a solution. Anger, life traumas of any sort. Sit down with your friends and people and talk about the various big life traumas that have happened to you, and you will find the areas that you have to look out for, because those spirits try to come back through the same type of life traumas. Okay, number 3, sex events. That's obvious. You know, when did you have your first arousal, and was it being shared with somebody? And did someone force you into your first sexual excitement? Because that's got power in it. Okay, anger, unforgiveness, life traumas, sex events, occult activities, including drugs of any sort. Occult activities, primarily using the dark side, using systems and potions and chemicals and practices, which ends up drawing on the dark side and makes you rely on things before God. Okay, number 5, our areas of strength or skill or success. In the areas where we're strong, a spirit of pride and exaltation can come in. A spirit of pride and self-exaltation. So, we are committed to making a difference in this world, in the human family. We are the mechanics of the spirit realm. Yahweh, the spirit who exists supersized, bless you forever. Stay in the sweetness of Holy Spirit gifts. Humble yourselves before the strongest spirit, and he will lift you up. Who is Adonai in your current situation? Who are the people that have been sent to you to be your voice of leadership and guidance and prayer? Coming up, spirits around men, spirits around women, spirits around the rich, and spirits around the poor. This is the Mechanics of the Spirit Realm. Thanks for hanging around.